All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we are going on a journey into the world of Bitcoin wallets.
Bitcoin wallets.
Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just kind of starting out with digital currencies,
Yeah.
understanding Bitcoin wallets is absolutely essential.
It's the foundation.
Yeah, consider this
Yeah.
deep dive your crash course
hmm
or even a masterclass in all things Bitcoin wallets.
All right. I like it.
By the time we're done here, you'll know not only what they are, but how they work,
Yes.
and how to choose the right one for you, and how to keep your Bitcoin safe and sound.
And maybe even impress your friends with some fun Bitcoin trivia.
Oh, I love it. All right, hit me.
Did you know that the very first Bitcoin wallet was created back in 2009
Oh, wow.
by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto?
By Satoshi themselves.
That's right.
See, that's what I love about these deep dives, always learning something new. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a Bitcoin wallet?
What is a Bitcoin wallet?
I mean, I've heard it described as like a digital bank account, but it's not quite that simple, is it?
You're right. It's not quite like a traditional bank account. A Bitcoin wallet doesn't actually hold your Bitcoin directly.
Okay.
Instead, it holds something far more valuable, and that's your private keys.
Oh, okay.
So think of it like this. Bitcoin itself exists on a vast, decentralized ledger called the blockchain.
Okay.
And your wallet, specifically those private keys,
Mm-hmm.
give you the power to access and manage your Bitcoin on that ledger.
Okay.
It's kind of like having the key to a vault where your Bitcoin is stored.
So it's more like a key to a safe deposit box, not the box itself.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
But what about the blockchain? For someone who's still wrapping their head around Bitcoin, can you explain what the blockchain is in simple terms?
Absolutely. Imagine a giant digital spreadsheet
Okay.
that records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made.
Wow.
Now, this spreadsheet is constantly being updated and verified by a network of computers all around the world. That network and the technology that powers it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the blockchain.
Okay. Starting to get the picture now. So my Bitcoin is out there on the blockchain, and my wallet, which holds my private keys, gives me the power to access and manage it. But what exactly are these private keys, and why are they so important?
Okay, so private keys are essentially long, unique strings of characters that prove ownership of your Bitcoin.
Okay.
Think of it like a super secret password, only much more complex
Oh, wow.
and impossible to guess. These keys are what allow you to spend
Oh,
and
right.
transfer your Bitcoin.
Okay, I'm starting to understand why you said they're more valuable than the Bitcoin itself.
Right.
If you lose your private keys, you lose access to your Bitcoin
Gone.
forever.
It's gone forever.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
It is, and that's a lot of responsibility
Yeah.
that comes with managing those private keys. And that's why we'll be diving deep into security best practices later on. But before we get to that, let's talk about how Bitcoin transactions actually work. I know a lot of people get confused by this whole UTXO thing.
Yeah, the UTXO sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right.
It's definitely one of those concepts that trips people up when
Right.
they're first learning about Bitcoin.
It's really not that complicated once you break it down. UTXO stands for Unspent Transaction Output,
Okay.
and it's a fundamental concept in how Bitcoin transactions work. So let's say you have one Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to buy a cup of coffee, and that costs, let's say, 0.0001 Bitcoin.
Okay.
When you make that transaction, you're not sending the entire one Bitcoin.
Okay.
Instead, you're creating a new output of 0.001 Bitcoin that goes to the coffee shop,
Okay.
and another output of 0.9999 Bitcoin that goes back to you as change.
Oh, so it's kind of like breaking a dollar bill.
Exactly.
You pay for something with part of it,
Right.
and then you get the remaining amount back as change.
Exactly.
Okay.
Each one of those outputs becomes a new UTXO. Think of them like digital puzzle pieces. When you want to make another transaction,
Okay.
you can combine different UTXOs to make up the amount you need to send.
Interesting. So it's not like a traditional bank account where you have a running balance.
No.
It's more like a collection of these UTXO puzzle pieces that you
Yes.
use to make payments.
That's a great way to put it. Now that we've kind of covered the basics of what a Bitcoin wallet is
Mm.
and how transactions work, let's move on to the different types of wallets out there.
Okay.
This is where the convenience versus security dilemma comes into play.
Oh, the classic trade-off. You mean like choosing between keeping your cash
Yeah.
in your pocket for easy access
Yeah.
or locking it up in a vault for maximum security?
Exactly. Just like in real life,
Yeah.
the right choice kind of depends on your individual needs and priorities.
Okay, I'm ready to explore the world of Bitcoin wallets. Let's start with the ones that prioritize convenience,
Okay.
the so-called hot wallets.
Hot wallets.
What are those all about?
Hot wallets, or software wallets, are the most common type of wallet.
Mm.
They're essentially applications that you can download and install on your computer
Mm-hmm.
or your smartphone.
Oh.
You can even access them through a web browser,
Oh.
and they're always connected to the internet,
Okay.
hence the name hot.
So hot wallets are always online?
Yeah.
Does that mean they're more vulnerable to hacking?
That's a valid concern
Yeah.
because hot wallets are constantly connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
They are inherently more exposed to potential security risks.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about cold wallets? Those are supposed to be the Fort Knox of the Bitcoin world, right?
Right, you got it. Cold wallets are designed for maximum security. They store your private keys offline, making them virtually impenetrable to hackers. So it's like keeping your most valuable possessions in a safe
Wow.
that's not connected to any network.
Now that we've got this basic distinction between hot and cold wallets,
Yes.
I'm curious to dive deeper into each type. Let's start with hot wallets. What are the different flavors of hot wallets out there, and what are the pros and cons of each?
So when it comes to hot wallets, you've got a few options.
Yeah.
You have mobile wallets, web wallets, desktop wallets,
Okay.
and even Lightning Network wallets,
Wow. Okay.
each with their own unique advantages and disadvantages.
Okay.
Mobile wallets, as the name suggests, are apps
Mm.
that you can download and install right on your smartphone.
So mobile wallets are like having your Bitcoin wallet right in your pocket.
Exactly, yeah.
Sounds pretty convenient.
They are very convenient.
Yeah.
Mobile wallets are great for everyday transactions,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're using Bitcoin to pay for, goods and services
Yeah.
in physical stores.
But what about security?
Mhm.
I'm guessing that convenience comes at a price, right?
That's right. Mobile wallets, just like all hot wallets,
Mm-hmm.
are susceptible to security risks because they're connected to the internet.
Right.
If your phone gets lost, stolen, or hacked,
Right.
your Bitcoin could be at risk.
Yikes. So mobile wallets are good for small, frequent transactions, but maybe not the best choice for storing large amounts of Bitcoin.
Precisely.
Okay. What about web wallets? How are those different from mobile wallets?
Web wallets are essentially websites that allow you to access and manage your Bitcoin from any device
Oh, okay.
with an internet connection.
Okay.
They offer a high level of convenience
Yeah.
because you don't need to download or install any software.
That sounds pretty convenient, especially if you're traveling or using different devices.
Mm-hmm.
But again, security must be a concern, right?
Absolutely. Web wallets are just as vulnerable to hacking as mobile wallets, if not more so.
Okay.
And because your private keys are stored on a third-party server,
Mm-hmm.
you're essentially trusting that server to be secure.
So web wallets are great for accessibility, but not ideal for security.
Right.
Got it. Now, what about desktop wallets? Are those any different?
Desktop wallets are applications that you download and install on your computer. They offer a higher level of security than mobile or web wallets because your private keys are stored locally
Okay.
on your own device.
So desktop wallets are like a step up in terms of security,
Yes.
but they're not as convenient as mobile or web wallets.
Right.
Because you can only access your Bitcoin from that computer.
Exactly. And of course, if your computer gets hacked or crashes, your Bitcoin could still be at risk.
Right. Okay. So we've got mobile wallets for convenience, web wallets for accessibility, and desktop wallets for a balance of security and convenience. Now, what about those Lightning Network wallets you mentioned earlier? Those sound kind of interesting.
Lightning Network wallets are a relatively new type of hot wallet
Okay.
that leverage the Lightning Network.
Okay.
It's a second-layer solution built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain.
Okay. You're starting to lose me here.
Yeah.
What's this Lightning Network all about?
Imagine a network of payment channels that kind of sit on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. These channels allow for incredibly fast and cheap transactions.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a separate high-speed highway for Bitcoin transactions.
Okay, so Lightning Network wallets are all about speed and low fees. What's the catch?
Lightning Network wallets are still in their early stages of development,
Okay.
and they can be a bit more complex to use
Right.
than other types of hot wallets.
So maybe not for beginners, but something to keep an eye on for the future.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, before we move on to cold wallets, I think it's important to mention the concept of custodial versus non-custodial wallets.
Yes, that's important.
This applies to both hot and cold wallets.
That's right.
Okay, I've heard those terms thrown around before, but I'm not exactly sure what they mean.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us?
Sure. So a custodial wallet means that a third-party service provider,
Okay.
like an exchange, holds your private keys for you. It's kind of like having a bank account where the bank controls access to your funds.
So you're trusting someone else with your Bitcoin keys.
Right.
Sounds convenient, but also a bit risky.
Exactly. The convenience factor is that you don't have to worry about managing those private keys yourself.
Yeah.
But the downside is that if that service provider gets hacked
Right.
or goes out of business,
Right.
you could lose your Bitcoin.
Okay, that's definitely a trade-off to consider. What about non-custodial wallets?
Non-custodial wallets put you in complete control.
Huh.
You hold your private keys directly, which means you are responsible for keeping them safe.
It's like holding the keys to your own safe.
That's right.
No one else has access.
Exactly.
That sounds more secure,
Mhm.
but also a lot more responsibility.
Exactly. It's kind of like the Spider-Man motto. With great power comes great responsibility.
I like it. All right, so we've covered the basics of hot wallets,
Oh, yeah.
including the different types and the crucial distinction between custodial and non-custodial wallets.
Right.
Now, I'm ready to delve into the world of cold wallets,
All right.
those offline fortresses for your precious Bitcoin. What can you tell us about those?
Cold wallets are like the gold standard for Bitcoin security.
Okay.
By keeping your private keys offline, you completely eliminate the risk of hacking
Right.
and any other online vulnerabilities.
Sounds like the ultimate peace of mind.
Yeah,
But I imagine it comes with some trade-offs in terms of convenience.
you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Cold wallets are less convenient
Mm-hmm.
for everyday transactions,
Right.
but they are the perfect solution for storing large amounts of Bitcoin that you don't plan on accessing frequently.
So cold wallets are like that safe deposit box at the bank that
Yeah.
you only visit once in a while.
Yeah.
What are the different types of cold wallets out there?
The two main types are hardware wallets and paper wallets.
Okay.
Hardware wallets are physical devices
Okay.
that look a bit like USB drives.
So hardware wallets are literally like physical keys to your Bitcoin vault.
Precisely.
Okay.
They generate and store your private keys offline,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to physically connect the device to a computer or smartphone
Yeah.
to authorize transactions.
That sounds pretty secure.
Yeah.
What are some of the popular brands of hardware wallets?
So two of the most well-known and trusted brands
Yeah.
in the hardware wallet space are Ledger and Trezor.
Okay, so those are hardware wallets.
Yes,
What about paper wallets? Are those literally pieces of paper?
that's right. Paper wallets are simply physical documents
Okay.
with your public and private keys printed on them,
Okay.
often in the form of QR codes.
So it's like having your Bitcoin keys printed out on a piece of paper?
Yeah,
That sounds a bit old school, but also super secure.
it is. Paper wallets are considered one of the most secure ways to store Bitcoin because they're completely offline
Wow.
and immune to hacking.
Yeah.
But they do require extra care to prevent damage or loss.
Makes sense. You wouldn't want to spill coffee on your Bitcoin fortune.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got hardware wallets, which are like physical keys,
Yes.
and paper wallets, which are literally pieces of paper with your keys printed on them.
That's right.
Both offer maximum security,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not exactly convenient for everyday use.
Okay.
Now, I'm curious, what are some of the factors someone should consider
Okay.
when choosing between a hot wallet and a cold wallet?
The first question to ask yourself is, what is your primary goal
Okay.
for using Bitcoin?
Okay.
Are you looking to actively spend and receive Bitcoin on a regular basis? Or are you more focused on long-term storage and security?
So it's all about how you plan to use your Bitcoin.
Exactly.
If you're constantly buying coffee with Bitcoin, a hot wallet might be the way to go.
Yeah, it makes
But if you're holding on to your Bitcoin for the long haul, then a cold wallet makes more sense.
Exactly. It's also important to consider your risk tolerance.
Okay.
You know, if you're comfortable with the inherent risks of hot wallets
Mm-hmm.
and you're taking appropriate security precautions,
Yeah.
then a hot wallet might be perfectly suitable for your needs. But if you are highly risk averse and you want the absolute peace of mind that your Bitcoin is safe from hackers,
Right.
then a cold wallet is the way to go.
Makes sense. It's like choosing between carrying cash in your wallet
Right.
for everyday expenses
Yes.
or storing your savings in a vault. Now, I'm also wondering about the custodial versus non-custodial aspect.
Sure.
How does that factor into the decision-making process?
That's a great question. Whether you choose a hot wallet
Hmm.
or a cold wallet,
Yeah,
you'll need to decide if you want to go with a custodial or non-custodial option.
right. We talked about that earlier.
Yes.
Custodial means someone else holds your keys,
Right.
and non-custodial means you're in control.
Yeah.
But how do you weigh those options?
It comes down to a balance between convenience and control.
Okay.
Custodial wallets offer convenience, but they also mean entrusting your Bitcoin
Hmm.
to a third-party service provider.
Okay.
Non-custodial wallets give you complete control,
Right.
but they also come with that responsibility
Yeah.
of managing your private keys securely.
So custodial wallets are like having a bank account,
Yes,
and non-custodial wallets are like holding your own cash.
exactly. Which one you choose depends on your individual needs and preferences. Some people prefer the convenience
Yeah.
and, perceived security of a custodial wallet,
Right.
while others value the control and autonomy of non-custodial wallet.
Okay, so we've got hot wallets versus cold wallets.
Yes.
And custodial versus non-custodial wallets.
Right.
That's a lot to consider. Is there a right answer?
That's a good question.
Or is it all about finding the right fit for your individual needs and risk tolerance?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
The best Bitcoin wallet for you is the one that aligns with your specific goals,
Mm-hmm.
your risk tolerance,
Yeah.
and your level of technical expertise.
So it's like choosing a car. Some people prioritize speed and performance.
Right.
Others prioritize fuel efficiency.
Yeah.
And still, others prioritize safety and reliability. It all depends on what's most important to you.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just like with cars, there's a wide range of options available in the Bitcoin wallet market, each with its own set of features and benefits.
All right, so no right or wrong answers, just different options to choose from based on your individual needs. Now, I'm dying to know, how do you actually set up one of these wallets? Is it a complicated process?
Setting up a Bitcoin wallet is actually quite simple, and we'll walk you through the steps in just a moment. But before we do, let's just take a quick break to recap what we've covered so far. We've explored the fundamentals of Bitcoin wallets, from what they are and how they work, to the different types available, including hot wallets and cold wallets, custodial and non-custodial options.
We've also touched on the importance of private keys, the concept of UTXOs, and the convenience versus security dilemma that comes with choosing a wallet.
Exactly.
Okay, I feel like we've laid a solid foundation.
I think so.
Now I'm ready to learn how to actually set up a Bitcoin wallet. Let's start with hot wallets.
Okay.
What are the basic steps involved?
Setting up a hot wallet is generally a straightforward process. First, you'll need to choose a reputable wallet provider.
Okay.
Do your research, read reviews, and make sure the provider has a good track record
Good.
of security and reliability.
Okay, so step one is choosing a provider.
Yes.
What's next?
Once you've chosen a provider, you'll need to download and install their app
Okay.
or access their web interface.
Okay.
This is usually a pretty simple process, just like downloading any other app or visiting a website.
Got it. So download the app or visit the website. What happens next?
Then you'll need to create an account.
Okay.
This typically involves providing your email address,
Right.
creating a strong password,
Hmm.
and verifying your identity.
Right. Standard procedure for creating an online account. What's the next step?
Once your account is created, you will be provided with a public address and a private key.
Wait, we're back to keys again.
Yes,
Can you remind us what those are and why they're so important?
absolutely. Your public address is kind of like your Bitcoin bank account number.
Hmm?
You can share it with anyone who wants to send you Bitcoin.
Okay.
Your private key, on the other hand, is like the secret PIN code to your account.
Okay.
It's what allows you to access and spend your Bitcoin.
Okay, so public key is for receiving Bitcoin.
Yep.
And private key is for spending it.
Exactly.
And it's crucial to keep that private key super secret, right?
You got it. Never share your private key with anyone
Okay.
and store it securely offline.
All right, so we've created an account. We've got our public and private keys.
Yes.
Now what?
Now you're ready to start using your hot wallet.
Okay.
You can receive Bitcoin by sharing your public address with someone,
Okay.
or you can buy Bitcoin directly through the wallet provider.
So that's how you set up a hot wallet.
That's the gist of it.
What about cold wallets?
Yeah.
How do those work?
Setting up a cold wallet is a little bit different, especially if you're using a hardware wallet.
Right, those are the physical devices that look like USB drives.
Exactly. First, you'll need to purchase a hardware wallet from a reputable manufacturer.
Yep.
Like we mentioned before, Ledger or Trezor.
Okay, so step one is getting the hardware. What's next?
Once you receive your hardware wallet, You'll need to connect it to your computer or smartphone
Okay.
and follow the manufacturer's instructions to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
This usually involves creating a PIN code
Okay.
and generating a recovery seed phrase.
Hold on. What's a recovery seed phrase?
Oh, yeah.
Is that like another key?
It is. It is. A recovery seed phrase is essentially a backup of your private key.
Oh, okay.
It's a series of 12 or 24 words that you need to write down
Got it.
and store securely offline.
So if you lose your hardware wallet, you can use this seed phrase to recover your Bitcoin.
Exactly. It's like having a spare key to your safe deposit box.
Okay, so we've got our hardware wallet, we've set it up, and we've written down our recovery seed phrase. What's next?
Now you can transfer Bitcoin to your hardware wallet from another wallet or exchange. And your Bitcoin will then be stored securely offline on the device.
And what about paper wallets?
Yeah.
How do you set those up?
Setting up a paper wallet is surprisingly simple.
Okay.
You can use a specialized website or software
Mm-hmm.
to generate a pair of keys, a public key, and a private key.
Okay, so we're generating keys again. What do we do with them?
These keys,
Yeah.
often in the form of QR codes,
Okay.
will be displayed on your screen.
Right.
You'll then need to print them out or very carefully write them down
Okay.
on a secure piece of paper.
So that's it. Just print out the keys and you've got a paper wallet.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
The most important thing is to make sure you do this process offline
Right.
to prevent your keys from being compromised.
Right. So disconnect from the Wi-Fi,
Yes.
put your phone on airplane mode,
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards. Got it.
exactly. And once you have your paper wallet,
Mm.
store it in a safe and secure location,
Right.
just like you would any other valuable document.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of setting up both hot and cold wallets.
Yes.
It sounds relatively straightforward, but I imagine security is a major concern,
Security is very important.
especially with hot wallets being constantly connected to the internet.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No matter what type of wallet you choose,
Yeah.
security should always be your top priority.
All right, I'm ready to dive deep into the world of Bitcoin security best practices. What are the essential steps everyone should take to protect their precious Bitcoin?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll be exploring in detail in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned, folks. Welcome back, Bitcoin explorers. In the last part of our deep dive, we laid the groundwork, exploring the different types of Bitcoin wallets, hot and cold, custodial and non-custodial, and even demystified some technical jargon like those UTXOs.
Right, those pesky little UTXOs.
Now it's time to shift gears and tackle a topic that's absolutely crucial in the world of crypto, and that's security.
You're absolutely right. Security is paramount when it comes to Bitcoin. After all, we're dealing with digital assets that once lost can be virtually impossible to recover.
Okay, yeah, that's enough to send shivers down any Bitcoin holder's spine. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty of Bitcoin security. What are the essential steps everyone should take to protect their hard-earned crypto?
It all starts with the foundation of any good security practice, and that's strong and unique passwords. I know it sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people still use weak or easily guessable passwords for their Bitcoin wallets and exchanges.
It does seem obvious, but I know a lot of people still struggle with creating strong passwords. Why is that so crucial in the Bitcoin world?
Well, in the world of Bitcoin, where transactions are irreversible, a weak password is an open invitation for hackers. We're talking about potentially losing your entire Bitcoin stash, not just access to, like, a social media account.
Okay, point taken. Strong and unique passwords are a must. But what exactly constitutes a strong password in this Bitcoin realm?
A strong password should be at least 12 characters long, ideally longer, and include a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters.
So something like Bitcoin R00ckcase.2023 wouldn't cut it.
Definitely not. It's too short, it's too predictable, and it contains common words that hackers can easily guess using automated tools.
Okay, so randomness and length are key. But let's be honest, remembering a bunch of complex, unique passwords for all of our Bitcoin-related accounts can be a real nightmare. Is there a better way?
Absolutely. This is where password managers come in.
Oh, okay.
A password manager is like a digital vault for all your passwords.
Okay.
It generates and stores strong, unique passwords for each of your online accounts, so you only need to remember one master password to access them all.
You advise using a password manager, but isn't that putting all your eggs in one basket? What if the password manager itself gets hacked?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's crucial to choose a reputable password manager that uses strong encryption and offers features like two-factor authentication to protect that master password.
Okay, so password managers can be a great solution if you choose a trustworthy provider and take the appropriate security measures. What else can we do to bolster our Bitcoin security?
Another essential layer of protection is two-factor authentication, or 2FA.
Okay.
This adds an extra step to the login process, requiring you to enter a unique code from a separate device, like your smartphone, in addition to your password.
So even if someone manages to steal your password, they still can't access your account without that second factor. It's like having two locks on your door.
Exactly. Most reputable Bitcoin exchanges and wallet providers offer 2FA, and I highly recommend enabling it on all your accounts.
Okay, strong passwords, two-factor authentication. What else?
Now let's talk about something that's particularly relevant to hot wallets, and that's being cautious about phishing attacks.
Phishing attacks, those sneaky emails or messages that try to trick you into revealing sensitive information. We've all seen those, right?
Right. But in the Bitcoin world, phishing attacks can be particularly devastating. Hackers might try to impersonate a legitimate exchange or wallet provider, sending you emails or messages that look very official, asking you to, update your password or verify your account.
So if I get an email that looks like it's from my Bitcoin exchange asking for my password or seed phrase, that's a big red flag, right?
Absolutely. Legitimate service providers would never ask for your private keys or seed phrase via email or message. If you receive such a request, it's almost certainly a phishing attempt. Delete the message immediately and report it to the service provider if possible.
Okay, so be wary of any unsolicited requests for sensitive information. Got it. What else should we be on the lookout for?
Be cautious about clicking on links or downloading files from unknown sources.
Okay.
Hackers often embed malicious software in seemingly harmless links or attachments.
So no clicking on links and suspicious emails or downloading files from shady websites?
Exactly. It's always best to err on the side of caution when it comes to online security. And if you're ever in doubt, reach out to the service provider directly through their official website or phone number to verify the legitimacy of any communication.
Okay, that's good advice. Strong passwords, 2FA, beware of phishing attacks. What other security gems can you share?
Let's talk about backups, specifically those all-important seed phrases we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Remember, your seed phrase is essentially a backup of your entire Bitcoin wallet.
Right.
If you lose your hardware wallet or your paper wallet gets damaged, your seed phrase is the only way to recover your Bitcoin.
Okay, seed phrases. Got it. But what's the best way to store them securely?
The golden rule is to store your seed phrase offline in a safe and secure location.
So not on my computer or in a cloud storage service.
Definitely not. Those are prime targets for hackers. The best option is to write down your seed phrase on a piece of paper or, a metal plate and store it in a fireproof safe or a bank safety deposit box.
I once heard a story about someone who stored their Bitcoin seed phrase on a metal plate and buried it in their backyard.
Oh, wow.
Is that going too far?
Well, it's certainly one way to keep it offline and secure. The key is to choose a storage method that you trust, and that will protect your seed phrase from both physical damage and unauthorized access.
Okay, so offline storage is key for seed phrases. What about those hardware wallets, though? Are those completely immune to hacking?
While hardware wallets offer a very high level of security, it's important to remember that no system is 100% foolproof. There's always a small risk that a hardware wallet could be compromised, either through physical theft or a sophisticated supply chain attack.
You mentioned hardware wallets are they're the most secure, but aren't they also prone to physical theft or loss? How do you weigh that risk against online vulnerabilities?
That's a great point. The risk of physical theft is definitely something to consider when using a hardware wallet.
Okay.
It's essential to store your device in a safe and secure location and be aware of your surroundings when you're using it in public.
So no flashing your hardware wallet around in a crowded coffee shop.
Exactly. And if you're really concerned about physical theft, you can even consider using a multi-signature wallet, where multiple devices or individuals need to approve a transaction before it can be executed.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty robust security measure.
It is.
So hardware wallets are great, but it's important to be aware of those potential risks and take appropriate precautions.
Absolutely.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the other potential pitfalls in the Bitcoin world. I'm talking about scams, those shady characters lurking in the dark corners of the internet who are always looking for ways to separate you from your Bitcoin. What should we be on the lookout for?
Unfortunately, the world of cryptocurrency attracts its fair share of scammers and fraudsters. One of the most common tactics is the pump and dump scheme.
Okay, I've heard that term before, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. Can you break it down for us?
In a pump and dump scheme, a group of individuals artificially inflates the price of a cryptocurrency by spreading false or misleading information. They then sell their holdings at the inflated price, leaving unsuspecting investors holding the bag when the price inevitably crashes.
Oh, so it's like a coordinated effort to manipulate the market and make a quick profit at the expense of others.
Exactly. Be wary of any cryptocurrency that experiences a sudden and unexplained surge in price, especially if it's accompanied by a lot of hype on social media or online forums.
Okay, so pump and dump schemes are a big red flag. What other scams should we be aware of?
Another common tactic is the fake ICO scam.
ICO, initial coin offering. That's when a new cryptocurrency project launches and sells tokens to raise funds, right?
Right. But scammers often create fake ICOs, promising unrealistic returns or using stolen white papers and marketing materials to deceive investors.
So they're essentially creating counterfeit crypto projects to steal people's money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do your research before investing in any ICO and make sure the project has a solid team, a well-defined roadmap, and a legitimate reason for issuing a token.
Okay, pump and dump schemes, fake ICOs. What else should we add to our Bitcoin security checklist?
Be cautious about Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes.
Oh, right.
These are often disguised as cryptocurrency investment opportunities, promising high returns with little to no risk.
But we know there's no such thing as a free lunch in the world of investing, right?
Exactly. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes rely on recruiting new investors to pay off existing investors, and they inevitably collapse when the recruitment dries up.
Okay, so be wary of any investment opportunity that promises guaranteed returns or relies heavily on recruitment. Got it. Any other Bitcoin booby traps we should be aware of?
Always be suspicious of unsolicited offers or investment advice.
Okay.
Scammers often target cryptocurrency holders through social media, email, or even phone calls, trying to lure them into fraudulent schemes.
So if a random stranger on Twitter offers to double my Bitcoin holdings, it's best to just ignore them, right?
Exactly. Legitimate investment advice rarely comes from unsolicited sources. Do your own research, consult with trusted financial advisors, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Solid advice. Now, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier. Public Wi-Fi networks.
Yes,
Those can be a security nightmare.
they can be. Public Wi-Fi networks are often unsecured, meaning hackers could potentially intercept your data, including your Bitcoin wallet login credentials.
So no checking your Bitcoin balance while sipping a latte at the local coffee shop.
It's best to avoid it if possible. If you absolutely must use public Wi-Fi, make sure you're using a VPN or a virtual private network.
Okay.
A VPN encrypts your internet traffic, making it much harder for hackers to snoop on your activity.
Good to know. So VPNs are a must for public Wi-Fi. What else can we do to stay safe in the wild west of the internet?
One final tip, and it's a simple but important one.
We're
Review your wallet activity regularly. Make it a habit to check your transaction history and balances periodically to ensure that everything looks as it should.
Good point. It's like checking your bank statement every month to make sure there are no unauthorized charges.
That's right.
If you see any suspicious activity, you can take steps to secure your account and potentially recover any lost funds.
Exactly. And if you ever have any doubts or questions about the security of your Bitcoin wallet, don't hesitate to reach out to the wallet provider's customer support team for assistance.
All right, that's a lot to digest, but it's all incredibly valuable information. I feel like I just earned a black belt in Bitcoin security. But before we get too carried away celebrating our newfound knowledge, let's take a step back and recap the key takeaways from this deep dive into security.
Sounds like a good plan. Let's solidify those essential security practices.
We started by emphasizing the importance of strong, unique passwords for all your Bitcoin-related accounts, and we explored the benefits and potential risks of using password managers. Then, we dove into the world of two-factor authentication, that extra layer of security that can make all the difference.
Right. And we also discussed the importance of being vigilant against phishing attacks, those sneaky attempts to trick you into revealing sensitive information.
And we explored the various scams and fraudulent schemes that target cryptocurrency holders, from pump and dump schemes to fake ICOs and Ponzi schemes.
All very important to watch out for.
We also highlighted the importance of securely storing your seed phrase offline, the risks associated with public Wi-Fi networks, and the value of regularly reviewing your wallet activity for any suspicious transactions.
It's a lot to remember, but it's all worth it to protect your hard-earned Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Security is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. By staying informed, being proactive, and following these best practices, you can significantly reduce the risk of losing your Bitcoin to hackers, scammers, or simple carelessness.
Well said. Now, with all that security knowledge under our belts, let's move on to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some of the exciting trends and innovations shaping the future of Bitcoin wallets.
Stay tuned, folks. The future of Bitcoin wallets is looking bright. Welcome back to the final part of our Bitcoin wallet deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of what a wallet is to the nitty-gritty of security best practices.
Yeah, we've gone from A to Z
A to Z.
and everything in between.
We've explored the various types of wallets, from hot wallets, buzzing with online activity,
Yeah, with hot wallet.
to cold wallets, chilling securely offline.
Same, nice and safe.
And we even touched on the philosophical differences between custodial and non-custodial wallets.
Right.
Who holds the keys to your crypto kingdom?
It's a big question.
Yeah, it's a big question. But the adventure doesn't end here. The world of Bitcoin wallets is constantly evolving,
Always changing.
with new innovations and features popping up all the time.
That's what makes it so exciting to follow, right?
So for this final stretch of our deep dive, let's gaze into the crystal ball and explore some of the trends shaping the future of Bitcoin wallets. Where do you see this technology heading?
Well, one trend that's already gaining momentum is the rise of multi-signature wallets.
Yeah.
We touched on this briefly in the security section, but it's worth diving a little deeper.
Multi-sig wallets, those are the ones where multiple parties need to approve a transaction before it can be executed, right?
Exactly. Think of it like having a safe with multiple locks, each requiring a different key to open.
Okay.
In a multi-sig wallet, you might require, say, 2 out of 3 designated keys to authorize a transaction.
So even if one key is compromised, the funds are still protected.
That's right.
That sounds incredibly secure.
Very secure.
But I imagine it also adds a layer of complexity.
It does, but the added security can be well worth the trade-off,
Right.
especially for businesses or individuals managing significant amounts of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would be appealing for high-stakes situations. What other trends are on the horizon?
Another fascinating development is the increasing focus on privacy-enhancing technologies. As you know, Bitcoin transactions are publicly recorded on the blockchain,
Right.
which raises concerns about privacy for some users.
Right, yeah. Transparency is one of Bitcoin's core principles, but it can also be a double-edged sword when it comes to privacy.
Exactly, and that's where these privacy-enhancing technologies come in. One example is CoinJoin,
Okay.
which is a technique that mixes multiple transactions together,
Okay.
making it much harder to trace the origin and destination of funds.
So it's like throwing a bunch of coins in a hat and then pulling out a random handful.
Exactly. Yeah.
It makes it much more difficult to track individual coins.
Right.
Clever. What other privacy-focused innovations are in the works?
Another promising technology is the use of zero-knowledge proofs, or ZKPs.
ZKPs, okay.
This cryptographic technique allows you to prove that you have certain information without actually revealing the information itself.
Okay, that sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It does, a little bit.
Can you give us a real-world example of how that might apply to Bitcoin wallets?
Sure. Imagine you want to prove that you have enough Bitcoin to make a purchase
Okay.
without revealing your actual balance or transaction history.
Yeah.
CKPs can make that possible.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing. So privacy is becoming a bigger focus
It is, yeah.
in the world of Bitcoin wallets. What other trends are you seeing?
Well, we're also seeing a growing interest in user experience
Okay.
and accessibility. Early Bitcoin wallets were often a little clunky,
Yeah.
a little intimidating to
Yeah.
newcomers.
I can relate to that. When I first started exploring Bitcoin, I was overwhelmed by all the technical jargon and complicated interfaces.
Exactly. But the good news is that newer wallets are really focusing on simplicity and ease of use
Okay.
with intuitive interfaces and features designed to make the experience more enjoyable for everyone.
That's great to hear. After all, the more user-friendly these wallets are, the
Yeah.
wider the adoption of Bitcoin can be.
Absolutely. Another trend worth mentioning is the integration of Bitcoin wallets with other financial services.
You mean like being able to use your Bitcoin wallet to pay bills,
Yes,
buy goods and services,
that's right.
or even invest in other assets?
Exactly. We're already seeing companies offering debit cards linked to Bitcoin wallets. And there's a growing interest in using Bitcoin for for micropayments and cross-border transactions.
So the lines between traditional finance and the world of crypto are starting to blur.
That's right. And as this integration continues, we can expect to see Bitcoin wallets becoming even more versatile,
Yeah.
integrated into our daily lives.
It's like Bitcoin is slowly but surely weaving itself into the fabric of the financial system.
Precisely. And this brings us to one of the most exciting and perhaps controversial trends in the Bitcoin wallet space, the rise of decentralized finance, or DeFi.
Ah, DeFi. It's one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot these days.
Yeah.
Can you give us a quick explainer for those who might not be familiar?
Sure. In a nutshell, DeFi aims to recreate traditional financial services like lending, borrowing, and trading
Okay.
on a decentralized blockchain platform.
So it's like cutting out the middleman,
Right.
the banks and financial institutions,
Yes.
and putting the power back into the hands of individuals.
Exactly. And Bitcoin wallets are playing a key role in this movement, providing the gateway for users to access and interact with these default protocols.
So we could potentially use our Bitcoin wallets to lend out our Bitcoin, earn interest, or even trade it for other cryptocurrencies,
Yes.
all without going through a centralized exchange.
That's the idea.
That's amazing.
DeFi is still in its early stages, and there are certainly risks involved, but the potential is enormous. It could revolutionize the way we think about finance, empowering individuals, and creating a more open and accessible financial system.
It's all very exciting, but it also feels like we're standing on the edge of uncharted territory.
That's the beauty of it. The future of Bitcoin wallets is full of possibilities, and we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of what's possible.
Well said. It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of Bitcoin wallets, from their humble beginnings to the cutting-edge innovations that are shaping their future. I feel like I've learned so much. I'm excited to see what the next chapter holds for this revolutionary technology.
Me too. And remember, no matter where the technology takes us, the fundamental principles of security, responsibility, and informed decision-making will always remain paramount.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. Now that you've explored the vast and evolving landscape of Bitcoin wallets, what features or innovations are you most excited about? What role do you see Bitcoin wallets playing in your own financial future?
It's a question worth pondering,
Yeah.
and the answer will be unique to each individual.
This has been another enlightening deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep your Bitcoin safe.